So Endgame closed out a bunch of story arcs for our main Avengers, which is why I wanted to take a look back at some of Phase 1, Phase 2, and yes, even Phase 3 by ranking from worst to best all of the origin movies in the MCU. There are 8 in total. I am not counting Spider-Man Homecoming just because it did not introduce how Peter Parker became Spider-Man, and I'm not counting Iron Man 2 since it's an Iron Man movie, even though it introduces Black Widow, it doesn't show us her origin. Starting off the list at number 8, we have got The Incredible Hulk. I enjoyed this movie growing up. I watched this a lot, but for the final act, I think this movie shows a very clumsy version of Bruce Banner. I mean, save for the fact that he's a scientist who got hit by gamma rays and who turns into a green rage monster, they don't really symbolize on his character, which is why I think this movie kind of falls flat. Coming in at number 7, we have got the first Thor movie. For a character that becomes so awesome and just such a fan favorite later in the franchise, I think it's quite surprising when you look back at where he started. He started off on a very weak note, in my opinion. This movie didn't do him justice at all. There are some humorous moments, but those aren't enough to really save the movie. Coming in at number 6, we have got Captain Marvel. I think flashbacks are probably the weakest form of telling an origin story. Even though regular person gets involved in an event that gives them superpowers, and then they try to fight the bad guy, but then they fail, so then they have to overcome their fears for the greater good and rise up to save the city. Yeah, it's very by the book, but it's classic. It's a classic for a reason, and it works. It works for a reason. It's a simple yet working way of telling an origin story, and it's just because it doesn't do this doesn't mean the movie's bad, but because it does flashbacks and it doesn't really show truly Captain Marvel, even though it highlights on what she could become and how she's gonna help out in Endgame, the origin story as a film arc, it just doesn't do justice to it. And then rounding off this first half, we have got at number 5, Captain America, the First Avenger. All these movies have a sole purpose that they're trying to accomplish. All these movies are trying to introduce their main characters, and Captain America was trying to be introduced in this. And he got introduced really well. Some of the characters' themes that carry out with him in later movies are established in this movie. We see why Steve Rogers is a true hero. And I just think that some people don't like this movie. For whatever the reasons they have, I do like the movie. I don't think it's horrible. And even though it has some faulty moments, it's not enough to really sink the movie. And these top 4 were really hard to decide on. I mean, if your favorite didn't make it into number 1 or number 2, please don't be mad, because I love all 4 of these. And if you want to let me know your top 4, let me know in the comment section down below. And by the way, if you want my more elaborate thoughts on some of these movies, make sure to check out my all MCU movies ranked. I'll leave a card up above. I talk about the movies and I give a numeral and letter grading to them. But coming in at number 4, we have got Guardians of the Galaxy. It was a huge surprise. I wasn't looking forward to it as much as I was to some of the other movies in the MCU, but man, action plus comedy done well equals thumbs up for me, and that's what this movie did. Plus, it did recapture what the Avengers did in one single movie. We had no setup for these characters, but these characters had already been established in the universe, not in previous movies, but we found out in the movie that we're not learning how these characters become who they are. We learn how these characters become a team, and this James Gunn did perfection on this movie. Coming at number 3, we have got Ant-Man, the first one. I love a spy slash heist movie. Done well, of course. This movie is done well, and I love that it focuses on the side characters, because the side characters are some of my favorites in the entire franchise. Sure, it's not the best movie in the world, but for what it's trying to get done, which is, like I said, introduce Ant-Man, but also be set in this overarching universe, it does that really well. Coming to number 2, we have got the first Iron Man movie, the one that started it all. it started it all really good. Robert Downey Jr. with his charisma, supporting cast, being taken to another level because RDJ is around them, which is true for a lot of the movies in the MCU, is just all makes for a perfect Iron Man movie. It really shows why Tony Stark is the true one person the glue holding together this entire franchise. And at my number one spot, it has to be Doctor Strange. I think this is the perfect origin story. Mild-mannered guy by day and then crime-fighting superhero by night. That campy theme is portrayed in this movie very well. It's not a campy movie, it's a campy theme that's just shown. I mean, it's the perfect origin story in my opinion, and it sets up future films with maybe possibly bringing back Dormammu, setting up Mordo as a villain in Doctor Strange 2 possibly. There's just a lot of things that it gets done right, and it really symbolizes on the Stephen Strange character and who is he before becoming the master of the mystic arts and who he is after. And yeah guys, that's my list. Let me know what your list is in the comment section down below. If you want to watch more videos, you can check them out right there. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, feel free to do so. I do comic book movie news updates, trailer reactions, movie reviews. If you want any of that stuff, make sure to click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss anything in the future. And yeah guys, I will see you in the next one. Peace out.